The worst calls always come on Sundays. I was elbow-deep in garden soil, carefully transplanting my grandmother's cherished hydrangeas. When my phone buzzed, my father's name lit up the screen. Something in my gut tightened. This wasn't our usual Sunday check-in. "Nicole, sweetheart, we need to talk about the house." 7 words that made my hands freeze in the dirt. I'm Nicole Morrison. For 29 years, this house, this creaky-floored, book-filled Victorian, has been my constant. Every room holds a piece of my history, the kitchen doorway with my childhood height marks, the window seat where Mom read to me before she passed, the garden where Grandpa Cole taught me about flowers. I swallowed hard. What about the house? Since Dad remarried 6 months ago, Monica's presence had seeped into every corner of his life. "Monica and I have been talking," Dad began, his voice too chipper to be genuine. "We found a beautiful condo downtown, and, well, we think it's time to sell." A hydrangea stem snapped between my fingers. "Sell, Dad? You can't be serious." "Now, honey, I know you love this place, but..." "Love? This isn't about sentimentality. This is our home, Mom's home, Grandpa's." "Your grandfather would have understood," he interjected. "People move on. Monica thinks." Of course, Monica thinks. The bitterness in my voice surprised even me. "And what about what I think?" Dad sighed. "Nicole, you have your own apartment. This house is too big for just Monica and me, and the upkeep." "I can help," I said quickly. "I always have." "The decision is made, sweetheart. The realtor's coming Wednesday." I sat back, soil staining my jeans. Across the fence, my childhood neighbor, EMT, was washing his car. He caught my eye, lifting a hand in greeting, but his smile faded at my expression. "Dad, wait, can we at least talk this through?" "There's nothing to discuss. Monica's already picking out furniture for the new place." Of course she was, Monica, with her Pinterest-perfect vision and disdain for the house's outdated charm. Monica, barely older than me, yet somehow convincing Dad to discard his past, including me. "I have to go," I said flatly, ending the call. EMT was already walking over, water dripping from his hands. "Bad news?" "They're selling the house." The words felt foreign, heavy in my mouth. "What, but didn't your grandfather?" Something clicked. A conversation with Grandpa Cole, right before he passed, something about important papers in his study. "Help me with something," I told EMT, already heading inside. Grandpa's study remained untouched, a quiet shrine to the man who had helped raise me. His leather chair still bore the imprint of years spent reading, his glasses folded neatly on the desk. "What are we looking for?" EMT asked as I rummaged through drawers. Grandpa mentioned some documents, said they were important, but I wasn't listening closely enough at the time. After 20 minutes of searching, I found a locked metal box. The key hung behind his favorite painting, exactly where he always kept the important ones. Inside, beneath old photos and birth certificates, lay a legal document dated 15 years ago. My hand shook as I read. "EMT, look at this." He leaned over my shoulder, scanning the page. "Hereby transfer 51% ownership of the property to my granddaughter, Nicole Morrison, to be accessed upon her 25th birthday or my death, whichever comes later." I sucked in a breath. He left me majority ownership. Dad can't sell without my consent. EMT grinned. Your grandpa was always 10 steps ahead. A notification lit up my phone, a text from Monica. "Found the perfect chandelier for the condo, can't wait to leave this old place behind." I looked up at EMT, steel settling in my spine. "They want to sell? Fine, but they're about to learn that I'm not letting this place go without a fight." He raised an eyebrow. "What are you gonna do?" I pulled up a number on my phone, Elena Kelly, Grandpa's attorney. "I'm going to buy them out, every last share, then we'll see how Monica enjoys house hunting when she's the one getting evicted." Elena's office. Elena's office smelled like leather and lemon polish, just as I remembered. She adjusted her wire-rimmed glasses, flipping through the paperwork I'd handed her. "Your grandfather was thorough," she said. "This document is rock solid. You've legally held majority ownership since your 25th birthday. And my dad never knew?" Cole was explicit. This was to remain undisclosed unless someone tried to sell the house. She pulled another file from her desk. "There's more." My pulse quickened. "More?" Elena opened the folder, revealing photos, financial records, and court documents. "Your grandfather had Monica investigated when she started dating your father." I flipped through the pages. stomach sinking. 3 previous marriages, Elena read, all to older, wealthy men, each ending in divorce within 2 years, with substantial settlements. I exhaled sharply. She's a gold digger. And your father is her latest target, Elena said. He's already inquiring about early withdrawals from his retirement fund. For the condo down payment, I murmured, my jaw tightening. My phone buzzed, Felicity calling. I answered, Fel? Nicole, get to the Grove, now. Her voice was urgent. Monica's here with some woman, and you're going to want to hear what she's saying. The Grove, Monica's favorite cafe. I grabbed my keys. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. Elena was already gathering the documents when I met her gaze. Take these copies, she said, handing them over, and Nicole, be careful. People like Monica don't take kindly to being cornered. 15 minutes later, I slipped into the Grove, scanning the room until I spotted Felicity at her usual table in the corner. She had her laptop open, pretending to work, but her focus was clearly on the table behind her, where Monica sat with a blonde woman I didn't recognize. I ordered a coffee and slid into the seat across from Felicity, angling myself just enough to listen in. Monica's voice carried, smooth and self-assured. We just need to push the sale through quickly, she said. Once Randall's retirement money comes through for the down payment, we can. The blonde cut in, and his daughter? You said she's putting up a fight. Monica's laugh was sharp. Nicole's just sentimental. Once the house is sold, I'll convince Randall to invest the rest in my business venture. By the time I'm finished, he won't have anything left to leave her anyway. My coffee cup froze halfway to my lips. Under the table, Felicity squeezed my knee. The blonde leaned in. Same plan as always? Secure the money, then find an excuse to leave? Monica sighed dramatically, her tone dripping with false sympathy. Poor Randall, another failed marriage, but by then, I'll be more than comfortable, ready for my next opportunity. Felicity's grip on my knee tightened as I shifted, ready to stand. Wait, she whispered, there might be more. What about the house? The blonde pressed. That Victorian must be worth a fortune. Monica smirked. Once we sell, I'll push for the money to go into a joint account. Randall's so desperate to make me happy, he'll sign whatever I put in front of him. That was enough. I pulled out my phone and dialed Elena. How soon can we finalize the buyout? I asked as soon as she answered. I can have the paperwork ready by tomorrow, she said, but Nicole, you'll need liquidity. I have savings, and my trust fund from Mom, I said, steadying my breath. I want every share except my 51%, whatever it takes. Elena hesitated. That's a significant move. It's worth it. Across the cafe, Monica laughed at something her friend said. Oblivious, my grip tightened around my phone. One more thing, I said. Can you find out who handles my dad's retirement accounts? Elena sighed. Nicole. He's about to make the worst mistake of his life. I have to stop him before she drains everything. After ending the call, I stood. Felicity grabbed my arm. What are you going to do? I exhaled slowly, my resolve solidifying. Everything Grandpa taught me about patience and strategy. My lips curled into a cold smile. Monica thinks she's playing the long game. She's about to learn she's not the only one who knows how to win. As we stepped outside, Monica's voice drifted after us. By this time next month, we'll be rid of that house and everything it represents. I clutched the documents in my bag, thinking of Grandpa's foresight, of all the memories woven into those walls. No, Monica, I murmured, by this time next month, you'll be the one packing your bags. Felicity looped her arm through mine. Your grandfather would be proud. I nodded, unlocking my car. He taught me well. Then, pulling out my phone, I texted EMT. Never start a fight, but always finish it. Wednesday morning, EMT, the realtor's here. From my spot down the street, I watched a sleek BMW glide into our driveway. A sharply dressed woman stepped out, leather portfolio in hand. Right on time. I waited until she disappeared inside before making my move. Dad's car was in the driveway. Monica's luxury SUV was parked beside it. Showtime. The front door was unlocked. I stepped inside just as the realtor was wrapping up. Given the current market, we could list at $850,000. There's already strong interest. That won't be necessary, I announced, stepping into the room. Dad jolted upright. Nicole, what are you doing here? I'm here to stop you from making a mistake. I pulled out the ownership documents and handed them to the realtor. You should look at these before proceeding. Her professional smile faltered as she scanned the pages. Mr. Morrison, you didn't mention your daughter holds majority ownership. Monica's expression darkened. What? I met her glare head-on. 51%. A gift from Grandpa, I said smoothly, which means this house isn't going anywhere without my consent. Dad's face paled. But the house was in my name. Grandpa transferred the majority shares to me years ago, I said, keeping my voice even. It's legally binding. The realtor cleared her throat. I can't proceed without Miss Morrison's agreement. I'll give you some time to discuss. She made a swift exit, heels clicking against the floor. Monica sprang to her feet. This is ridiculous. Randall, do something. But Dad wasn't looking at me, he was looking at her. We need this sale, he murmured. You need the condo, I corrected, turning to Monica. You need my dad's retirement money for the down payment. That's your real plan, isn't it? Drain his accounts? Monica's expression flickered, just for a second. You have no idea what you're talking about, she snapped. Don't I? I folded my arms. I heard you at the Grove yesterday, every word, about your investment plans, about how, once the money's secured, you'll leave, just like you did with your last 3 husbands. Dad's head shot up. What? Felicity stepped into the doorway. Show him. I pulled the PI's report from my bag and handed it over. 3 marriages, 3 divorces, 3 hefty settlements, I said as Dad flipped through the pages. Each time, you walked away with everything you could get. Monica lunged for the documents, but Felicity blocked her path. I wouldn't, she said, unless you want the fraud charges from 2019 to resurface. Monica paled. Randall, they're lying. She turned to Dad, eyes pleading. They're just trying to turn you against me. But Dad wasn't listening. His gaze was fixed on a bank statement, one showing massive withdrawals from his retirement account. You told me your business would cover half, he said, voice barely above a whisper. Monica opened her mouth, then closed it. I softened my tone. Dad, listen to me. I'll buy your shares, fair market value. Use that money to start fresh, without touching your retirement. Monica shot to her feet, grabbing her purse. This is insane. I watched her storm toward the door, a slow satisfaction settling in my chest. She thought she was playing the long game. She had no idea I'd already won. I stared at Monica as she stood by the door, her hand gripping the knob. I refuse to stand here and be accused like this, she snapped. Walking away again? I asked, like you did in Seattle, or Miami, or should we talk about Phoenix? She stiffened, but she didn't leave. Dad slowly looked up from the documents in his hands, his face pale. Tell me the truth, is what they're saying real? Of course not, she insisted, but her voice wavered. Randall, sweetheart, you know me. Do I? He held up the investigator's report, because according to this, I don't know you at all. A car horn sounded outside. I glanced through the window and spotted a familiar face in the driver's seat. That would be your friend from the Grove, I said, the one you so proudly shared your scheme with. Turns out, she's quite willing to talk when confronted with evidence of fraud. Monica's mask finally cracked, her jaw clenched, eyes burning with fury. You little. Careful, Felicity cut in, holding up her phone. I'm recording this. Monica's shoulders sagged. Without another word, she yanked the door open and stormed out. Dad exhaled shakily. Nicole, I don't even know what to say. Then don't, I replied, pulling out the buyout agreement Elena had prepared. First, we make sure this house stays in the family. After that, we can figure out the rest. His eyes filled with tears as he nodded. Your grandfather would be proud of you. I thought of Grandpa's lessons, about patience, about protecting what matters. I learned from the best. Dad reached for a pen while Felicity squeezed my hand. You okay? I looked around the house, taking in the walls that held decades of memories. For the first time in a long time, I said, yeah, I think I am. But deep down, I knew Monica wasn't the type to disappear quietly, and if she wasn't done, then neither was I. 3 days later, Monica showed up at my door, tears streaking her face. My first instinct was to slam it shut, but something about her expression made me hesitate. Please, she said, her voice raw, just 5 minutes, that's all I ask. I kept the chain on the door. Give me one good reason. Because I have something your father needs to hear, and you're the only one he'll believe now. Against my better judgment, I let her in. I texted EMT the second I saw her car pull up. He was in the garden, but I knew he'd be watching. Monica perched on the edge of the sofa, looking nothing like the composed woman who had tried to steal my father's future. "I'm pregnant," she blurted. My stomach dropped. "What?" "6 weeks." She pulled a sonogram from her purse, her hands trembling. "I found out yesterday." I took the grainy image, my fingers cold. "Is it my father's?" Her eyes flashed. "Of course, I know what you think of me, but I don't think I know." I set the sonogram down. 3 marriages, 3 bank accounts drained. Your history speaks for itself. "People change," she whispered. "When I met your dad, it started the same as before, but he was different. He talked about you, about this house, about family." "Stop." I held up a hand. "If you're looking for sympathy, you came to the wrong person." Her breath hitched. "I fell in love with him. That wasn't supposed to happen. And now—" She touched her stomach. "Now everything's a mess." The front door opened, and Felicity walked in, stopping short. "What the hell is she doing here?" "Dropping a bomb," I said, still staring at the sonogram. "She's pregnant." Felicity's eyes narrowed. "How convenient." "I'll take any test you want," Monica insisted. "DNA, blood work, whatever you need." My phone buzzed. EMT's text was short. "Your dad just pulled up." Perfect timing. Seconds later, Dad rushed in. "Nicole, I saw Monica's car." He froze when he saw her. "What's going on?" I gestured toward Monica. "Tell him." She did. She held out the sonogram with shaking fingers. Dad sank into a chair, his face ashen. "A baby?" "Our baby," she whispered. "I'll prove it however you want." Felicity crossed her arms. "Let's say it's true. That doesn't erase what you did." "I know that," Monica said quickly. "I can't undo the past, but this changes things." Dad swallowed hard. "We'll need those tests." "Of course," she nodded. "And if it's mine?" He looked at me. "Nicole, I'll need your help to make sure I don't make any more mistakes." His trust weighed heavily on me. I thought about Grandpa, about what he'd do. "I have conditions," I said. Monica and Dad both looked at me. "First, you sign a postnuptial agreement," I told Monica, "protecting my father's finances, including his retirement." She didn't even hesitate. "Done." "Second, you both go to counseling, separately and together." "Absolutely," Dad agreed immediately. "And third," I picked up the sonogram, "if this baby is real, if you're serious about change, then prove it, because I'll be watching, and this time, I won't wait to protect my family." Monica wiped at her eyes. "I understand." Felicity leaned closer to me. "Are you sure about this?" "No," but I looked at my father, saw the hope flickering in his eyes, and I thought about redemption, about second chances. "We'll take it one step at a time," I said, "starting with the tests." Right on cue, EMT appeared in the doorway. "Everything okay in here?" I exhaled. "Not yet, but maybe it will be." The DNA results came on a rainy Tuesday. I was clearing out Grandpa's study when my phone rang. Dad's voice was thick with emotion. "Nicole, it's mine. The baby, it's really mine." I stared at the rain streaking down the window, my grip tightening on the phone. "Then I guess we figure out what happens next." I sank into Grandpa's worn leather chair, the familiar creak grounding me. "Does Monica know?" I asked. "She's here with me," Dad said. "Nicole, would you mind coming over to the apartment?" Since our confrontation, Monica had moved into a modest rental, and Dad had been splitting his time between there and our house. I hadn't visited yet, but this felt important. "I'll be there in 20. The apartment was exactly what I'd expected, sleek, modern, and completely devoid of warmth. It felt nothing like home. Monica opened the door, her usual polished appearance absent. Instead of designer outfits, she wore simple maternity clothes, her face free of makeup. "Thank you for coming," she said quietly. Dad was at the kitchen table, the DNA test results spread out in front of him, his eyes were red-rimmed. "So," I said, taking a seat, "looks like I'm getting a little sibling." Monica's composure crumbled, but this wasn't her usual controlled display of emotion, these were real, raw sobs. "I'm sorry," she choked out, pressing a hand to her chest. "The hormones." "It's not just the hormones," Dad said gently, taking her hand. "We've been talking about everything." Monica wiped her face. "Counseling has made me confront things I've spent my whole life running from." "Like what?" I asked, keeping my tone even. "Like why I always go after older men, why I don't believe love lasts." She swallowed hard. "My dad walked out on us when I was 8, left my mom with nothing. I swore I'd never be that helpless. So instead, You made sure you were the one in control, I said. She nodded. But now, with this baby, I can't run, and I don't want to. Dad exhaled. We want to try again, properly this time, with counseling, the postnup, everything you asked for. And the house is yours, Monica added quickly, where it belongs, but, we were hoping we could still be part of it, not living there, she rushed to clarify, catching my expression, just visiting, being family. The word hung in the air, heavy with meaning. I thought of Grandpa, his belief in redemption, his lessons about second chances. My phone buzzed, EMT checking in. I had told him where I'd be. I looked between them. All right, I said finally, but we do this the right way. No more lies, no more games. Agreed, they said in unison. And I'm keeping Elena as the family lawyer. The postnup needs to be airtight. Monica nodded. I already signed it. She had it delivered yesterday. That caught me off guard. You did? I meant what I said. I want to prove myself. She placed a hand on her stomach. This baby deserves better than a mother who runs. Dad cleared his throat. There's one more thing. I raised an eyebrow. Which is? We'd like to help with the house renovations, he said carefully, not to take over, just to contribute to its future. Monica hesitated. I have some ideas, small updates, nothing drastic, if you're open to them. I thought about the peeling kitchen paint, the faulty wiring Grandpa had always meant to fix. Show me, I said. She pulled out a simple notebook, no designer planner, just a plain spiral-bound pad filled with sketches. And to my surprise, the ideas were good, thoughtful. They preserved the house's character while making it more functional. I like these, I admitted. I've been studying historical renovations, Monica said. Your grandfather had an incredible eye for design. For the first time, hearing her talk about Grandpa didn't sting, maybe because, for once, she sounded like she actually meant it. My phone buzzed again, Felicity this time. Everything okay? I texted back, getting there. Dad spoke softly, we can't change the past, but maybe we can build something better, together. I studied Monica's sketches, the notes about which original details to preserve, the way Dad looked at her, different now, steadier, the subtle changes in both of them since they'd started counseling. One step at a time, I said, starting with dinner at the house tonight. EMT and Felicity will be there too. Monica's eyes lit up. Really? Really, but I'm cooking, no catering. I make a decent salad, she offered, simple, just, something to contribute. Dad squeezed her hand, then mine. Thank you, honey. As I left, I felt lighter, not completely trusting yet, but, hopeful. Maybe Monica really was changing. Maybe this baby would be the thing that finally healed us instead of breaking us further. Or maybe I was being naive. But as Grandpa used to say, sometimes, the biggest risk is refusing to take one. Dinner at the house. At first, everything went smoothly. Monica's salad was surprisingly decent. Felicity kept her skepticism buried under polite conversation. Even EMT seemed cautiously optimistic. Then Monica's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. After the fifth notification, I raised an eyebrow. Aren't you going to answer that? It's nothing, she said too quickly, shoving her phone deeper into her purse. EMT glanced at me. He'd noticed too. Another buzz. Dad frowned. Monica, if it's something important. It's just work stuff. About the boutique. I paused. What boutique? Monica froze, her fork halfway to her mouth. I was going to tell you all. I'm opening a vintage clothing shop. With what money? I asked, sharper than I meant to be. My savings, she said, and a small business loan. Dad stiffened. Loan? You never mentioned a loan. Another buzz. This time, her phone screen lit up through her purse. I caught a name. Marcus. Who's Marcus? I asked. The blood drained from Monica's face. Dad's expression darkened. Monica, who is Marcus? She grabbed for her phone, but in her rush, it slipped from her fingers. Felicity was faster. She caught it before it hit the floor. The screen was still lit. She read the messages aloud. Don't worry about the money, once the loan papers go through. Her voice trailed off, her eyes widening. Give me that. Monica lunged for the phone. But Dad snatched it first. His hands trembled as he read the texts. You used my name as collateral? His voice was barely a whisper. Without telling me? I can explain. Like you explained about the baby? His face was ashen. I stood, My chair scraping against the floor. Was that real? At least? Monica's eyes filled with tears. Yes, the baby is real. My feelings for your father are real. I needed the startup money. And Marcus said. Marcus said what? Dad's voice cracked. That he'd help you forge my signature? That he'd push through a fraudulent loan? It's not fraudulent, Monica protested. I folded my arms. Then why lie? Monica opened her mouth to answer. But this time, I didn't think I wanted to hear it. I was going to tell you. When? I cut in. Before or after you drained his accounts dry? Monica shot to her feet, knocking her chair over in the process. You don't get it. This was my chance to stand on my own, to prove I could be someone. By committing fraud? EMT's voice was quiet, but firm. By building something real. She turned to Dad, her expression desperate. I love you, the baby, the business, it was all meant to be for us. A real future. There's nothing real about fraud, Felicity said, already dialing. Elena, you need to hear this. Wait, please, Monica's voice wavered. I'll cancel the loan, destroy the paperwork. We can forget this ever happened. Like your other husbands conveniently forgot? I pulled out my phone and held up the screen. I started recording the second your phone wouldn't stop buzzing. One copy's already backed up to the cloud. She sank back into her chair, her face ashen. The baby. He'll have at least one parent who follows the law, Dad said, his voice unexpectedly steady, but the weight of it all was visible in his posture. He looked older, tired. I want you out of the apartment tonight. Randall and Elena will handle the custody proceedings. Until then, stay away, from all of us. Monica's gaze darted around the room, searching for an ally. She found none. Finally, she grabbed her purse and fled, leaving behind nothing but the faint scent of her expensive perfume, and the wreckage of what could have been. As soon as the door slammed shut, Dad exhaled shakily. I'm such an idiot, he muttered. Again, I fell for it again. No, I said softly, stepping beside him. You believed in second chances. That doesn't make you stupid, that makes you good. The baby, his voice broke. We'll have each other, EMT said firmly. All of us, that child is family, no matter what Monica did. Felicity hung up her call. Elena's filing emergency paperwork tonight. Monica won't be able to touch your accounts or use your name for loans. Dad sighed, staring at the old family photos on the wall. Your grandfather would have seen through her in a second. Maybe, I said, or maybe he would have done the same thing we did, given her the chance to be better. And look where that got us, he said bitterly. I shook my head. It got us here, stronger, smarter, together. The baby would arrive in a few months, bringing chaos and joy in equal measure. Monica would fight, would try to manipulate the situation, but we'd be ready. Family dinner next week? EMT asked, stacking plates. Less drama this time? Dad managed a tired smile. I'd like that. As we cleaned up, I caught sight of Grandpa's photo on the wall, that knowing smile of his, the one that always seemed to say things would work out in the end. For the first time in a long while, I actually believed it. The final confrontation, it happened sooner than any of us expected. I was supervising the electricians rewiring the house when Monica barged in, clutching a stack of papers. Her hair was a mess, her eyes wild, like she hadn't slept in days. You think you're so clever, she spat. All of you, conspiring against me. Dad stepped out of the kitchen, paintbrush still in hand. Monica, you shouldn't be here. Shouldn't be here? She laughed bitterly. This was supposed to be my house. She threw the papers at him, legal documents. Joint custody, supervised visitation. You can't do this. I'm the mother. A mother who committed fraud, I said, stepping forward. Be grateful Dad didn't press charges. Grateful? Her laugh was sharp and hollow. I'm 7 months pregnant and living in a shoebox. Everything I worked for. You mean everything you tried to steal? Felicity's voice came from behind her. She must have just arrived for our lunch meeting. Monica spun to face her. You turned them against me. You did that all on your own, Felicity said, unfazed, phone in hand, camera already rolling, just like you did with every other husband. This was different. I actually loved. Save it, Dad interrupted. The loan officer already talked. He told us how you planned this before the pregnancy, how Marcus helped you set up fake businesses to funnel my money through. Monica pressed a hand to her stomach. The baby's kicking, she murmured, voice suddenly small. Would you like to feel it? The blatant manipulation made my stomach turn. Stop, I said, just stop. Nicole, Dad cautioned. But I was done. You want to talk about the baby? I took a step closer. Then let's talk about how you used an innocent child as a bargaining chip. How you preyed on Dad's excitement about being a father again just to fund your next scam. I needed security, she shouted. For the baby. They would have had security, I snapped. Dad would have given you everything, but you couldn't wait, couldn't trust that love and family were enough. Monica scoffed. Love, her voice dripped with bitterness. Love doesn't pay bills. Love doesn't guarantee a future. I learned that when my father walked out. So you became him instead, I said softly, running cons, walking away, destroying families. The words hit like a slap. Monica swayed slightly, catching herself against the banister. The difference is, Dad said, his voice steady, our child won't learn those lessons. They'll learn about real family, real love, real trust. Monica sneered. From you, the man who fell for the same scam twice? No, I said before Dad could answer. From us, the people who stay, the ones who fight for family instead of trying to steal it. EMT appeared in the doorway, having heard the commotion. Everything all right here? Fine, Monica said, her tone suddenly sharp. I was just leaving. Good idea, Felicity said, before I call Elena about this very clear violation of the court order. But Monica wasn't finished. She reached into her purse and pulled out a final document. I still have this. She held it up. Your signature, Randall, on one loan that went through before they caught me. A slow, vindictive smile spread across her lips. 50 grand, due next month. Good luck proving you didn't sign it. Actually. The voice from the front door made everyone freeze. Elena stepped inside, briefcase in hand. That won't be necessary. Monica paled. Marcus gave everything up. Elena continued smoothly. The forgeries, the fake businesses, the paper trail. The DA is very interested in speaking with you. Monica clenched her fists. You're bluffing. Elena's smile was sharp and knowing. Want to bet your freedom on that? She snapped open her briefcase. I have the arrest warrant right here. The officers are waiting outside. Right on cue, 2 uniformed officers stepped into view behind Elena. You can't, Monica whispered, panic creeping into her voice. Elena remained unfazed. The baby will be born in the prison medical facility, she said. Unless you're willing to make a deal. Monica swallowed hard. What kind of deal? A full confession. Return of all stolen funds. Supervised visitation only. And mandatory counseling before any custody arrangement is considered. Monica's gaze darted around the room, searching for an escape, a way out. But there was none. Finally, her shoulders sagged. Okay, she murmured. Okay. As the officers led her toward the door, she hesitated, glancing back at Dad one last time. I did love you, Randall. Maybe not at first, but I did. Dad exhaled slowly, his face unreadable. I know, he said quietly. That's what makes this so tragic. When she was gone, silence settled over the house. The unfinished walls, exposed wiring, and half-painted trim were reminders of the work still ahead, not just on the house, but on our family. Well, EMT finally spoke, breaking the tension. I brought pizza. Anyone hungry? A simple statement, but it was enough. Dad let out a real, genuine laugh, the first in weeks. Starving, he said. But first, let's finish this kitchen. Together. As we grabbed paintbrushes and cans, I caught Elena's eye. She gave a small nod. Everything would be handled properly. The baby would be here soon. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but standing in that room, surrounded by the people who had stayed, I knew we'd be ready. A new beginning. The nursery was the final room we finished. I stood in the doorway, watching as Dad carefully placed Grandpa's old rocking chair by the window. Perfect spot, he murmured, running a hand along the worn wood. Mom used to rock you here. A soft wail crackled through the baby monitor clipped to my belt. Speaking of rocking. Downstairs, Felicity was trying to soothe my baby sister. She's got quite the set of lungs, she said, passing the fussy bundle to Dad. Little Grace had Mom's eyes and Dad's smile. At just 2 weeks old, she was already the center of our world. Elena entered, holding a stack of freshly signed documents. It's official. Monica signed everything. Full custody to you, Randall. She'll have supervised visits after she completes her rehabilitation program. Dad nodded, his attention still on Grace. How long will she be in treatment? He asked. At least 6 months, Elena replied. Her therapist says she's actually putting in the work this time. The doorbell rang. EMT let in the home health nurse who'd been helping us adjust to life with Grace. As she checked the baby's vitals, I noticed Dad subtly wiping away a tear. You okay? I asked gently. Just thinking about your mom. About Grandpa, he said softly. They should be here. They are, I said, instinctively touching the locket around my neck, Mom's locket, which I'd found in Grandpa's study during renovations. In all the ways that matter. The nurse finished her checkup and smiled. She's perfect. And she's lucky, she's got a whole team looking out for her. We do, Dad agreed, glancing around. Felicity was organizing baby supplies. EMT was installing a new baby monitor. Elena was reviewing legal documents at the dining table. It wasn't the family we'd started with. But it was ours. Nicole, Dad said hesitantly. Would you take Grace for a minute? There's something I want to show you. He led me to Grandpa's study, my study now, though most of his furniture remained. From a desk drawer, he pulled out an envelope. I found this while cleaning. It's from your grandfather, dated right before he passed. I unfolded the letter, recognizing Grandpa's familiar scrawl. My dearest Nicole. If you're reading this, then you've already found the house deed, and probably used it exactly as I hoped. You've always been the protector of this family, just like your mother was. The house is yours now, but its value isn't in its walls. It's in the love it holds. I've watched you grow into an extraordinary woman, and I know challenges will come. When they do, remember, family isn't just about blood. It's about the ones who stay. Who fight for you. Who help you build something beautiful from the broken pieces. Take care of your father. He'll make mistakes, we all do, but his heart is always in the right place. And take care of yourself. This house is your anchor, but don't let it become your cage. Let it be what it was always meant to be, a home. A place for love, for forgiveness, and for new beginnings. With all my love. Grandpa. Grace started fussing again, and Dad gently took her back, rocking her slowly. He knew, I whispered, carefully folding the letter. Somehow, he knew we'd need this place to bring us back together. Dad smiled faintly. No, he corrected. He knew you'd be strong enough to fight for it. To fight for us. Through the window, I saw EMT outside, planting new hydrangeas alongside Grandpa's old ones. The house was alive again, not just with fresh wiring and paint, but with laughter, with love, with family. Dad exhaled. I've been thinking. He hesitated, then continued. Maybe I should move back in. Not to take over, he added quickly. This is your house now. But maybe, we could make it work. All of us. I thought of the empty rooms upstairs. Of morning coffee in the kitchen. Of Grace growing up here, like I had. Yes, I said. I'd like that. Grace's tiny fingers curled around mine, her grip surprisingly strong. Outside, Felicity was setting up dinner in the garden. Elena was putting away her paperwork. EMT was bringing in fresh flowers. Dad chuckled. You know what Grandpa would say right now? I smiled. That family is like his garden. It needs strong roots, regular care, and room to grow, Dad finished. Grace cooed, reaching toward the sunlight filtering through the window. And in that moment, I saw it all, Sunday dinners in the backyard. Grace's first steps on the hardwood floor. New memories layering over the old, like fresh paint on cherished walls. Monica would always be a part of our story. But she wasn't the ending. The real ending was here. In this house, which had survived storms and schemes and still stood strong. In us, the family that had bent but never broken. Welcome home, little one, I whispered to Grace. Welcome home, Dad. Outside, the hydrangeas bloomed, old roots, new blossoms, their petals dancing in the evening breeze. And for the first time in a long while, everything felt exactly as it should be. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video, stay tuned.